Hi, everyone, and welcome to Cornerstone Conversations. My name is Damaris Aguayu, and here is a place of a small corner of the internet where we discuss issues about life in an open, authentic, and honest manner. I have with me Tazim Elkington. Hello, Tazim.
Hi, Dama. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you this week?
Amazing.
Yeah. Great to hear that. So Tazim is, as you well know if you've been watching this, is a renowned hypnotherapist, talk therapist, regression therapist, broadly speaking, yeah?
Leadership consultant.
Yes. Do you want to go through it? Through the whole?
Leadership, 21st century leadership trainer and facilitator, writer, speaker, public speaker, and psychosomatic therapist. And there's lots of different hats I can wear. So
great. Okay. So yeah, I think people get the idea. So this week we want to talk about the word purpose. Purpose is quite a big word these days because you hear very many times people talking about what's your purpose? This is my purpose. I haven't found my purpose. And we're just going to unpack that word with Tazim today and see the impact it actually has in our lives, knowingly or unknowingly. So Tazim, I'll just take it away. Can we start with just defining our current day understanding of this word purpose?
So from what people say to me, so I'm going to talk about the direct interactions I've had with people that bring up the word purpose. Can I please come and do sessions with you because I need to find my purpose? And I generally, generally my humor comes out when people say this to me. And I said, you know what, maybe if you stop sitting on it, you'll find it. Or maybe, and the humor comes out in many, many different ways. But the reason I make it humorous is because I think that, as we've discussed before, these trends come in every so often, purpose, how to be successful, how to, okay? And all these trends are based on certain periods in life where, one book comes out and then there's 100 books and 1,000 books on the same topic. Now, purpose is driven in many different ways, and purpose has been driven in the last, I would say, 2 or 3 decades based on the idea of when you find your purpose, you can become successful. And for me, this is completely misleading. It's completely misleading because, for one thing, purpose has been narrowed down to a point where it's taken away the meaning of purpose. And it's attached to success. And it's attached to meaning. And it's attached to creating a meaningful life. And to be honest, really, as far as I'm concerned, your purpose has got nothing to do with whether you will live a meaningful life or whether you will succeed or not. Because how many people are out there that spend thousands of shillings and dollars on thinking that they found their purpose and going to law school or going to engineering or learning to be X, Y, and Z. And when they come out, they can't even find a job. So why have we bought into this entire trend of a purpose?
So you just said that, is there another meaning of the word purpose? And if there is, can you define that for us?
For me, purpose is very simple. I actually don't really use the word much. However, in this case, because we're discussing it, purpose for me is in every moment, okay? Purpose is in every moment we are alive. So from the time we wake up, and even while we're asleep, there's purpose in sleep, because if you don't sleep, your cells don't regenerate. You're not healthy if you don't sleep well. So in every moment of our living lives, asleep, awake, whatever, there is purpose. There's purpose when you go and empty your bowels in the morning, because if you didn't empty your bowels, you'd end up full of crap. All right. There's purpose when you have to drink your first warm glass of water in the morning. I mean, let's be realistic, right? To get your metabolic rate going. There's purpose when you eat, because you have to feed your body. There's purpose when you interact with people, because we're social human beings. There's purpose when you decide to go and study something. There's purpose in everything we do. Life in itself. So why do we then buy into a trend where it says you have to find a purpose in your life, which drives most people insane anyway, because they're sitting there twiddling their thumbs and wondering, what is my purpose on this planet? You don't have to find your purpose on this planet. The fact that you exist is already purposeful.
So what's the alternative for people who are trying to find that thing that brings out their gifts and their talents and, brings out the best in them? What's the alternative way of defining that?
So why are we constantly looking for the best? Just by trying to look for the best, sometimes we go away from finding the shiniest or the hidden gems, okay? The point is we're constantly looking for things inside of us that are buried so far deep based on our entire history of our life or lives that we can't find it. So what is it that people are actually looking for? So we've been told that unless we find that thing inside or those gifts inside, we are not good enough. We are not good enough for who? For what? To who? So these are the concepts, these are Western concepts that actually take us away from the flow of life. Because if our gifts are inside us, there's a simpler, more easier way of finding out what it is that I really enjoy doing or working with. And instead of people looking at what resonates with them and what they enjoy spending their time with, they're looking to compete. This is all based on competition and comparison. And competition and comparison is extremely lethally dangerous for the human spirit.
That's true. I agree. Yeah.
So this constant striving is not going to bring your gifts to the surface. This constant striving is my friend's kid is going to this school and he's studying these subjects, and I have to put my daughter in that school because I want her to be just as good. Your child might be a completely different type of child that is not even interested in those subjects. And maybe she's more artistic, or maybe she's more this, or maybe she's more that. Now you're trying to pack her into a box that fits someone else's child. Or because of that, let's compete. Let's be like, people talk about the Jones and the Smiths. Let's talk about the Kamaus and, our type. But we don't need, we've really, this whole competition comparison thing has gone out of the window. And so in that trend and in that way, people will buy into anything, including finding a purpose. And then they can spend the next 30 years finding that purpose, and they won't find it, and they have so many regrets at the end of their life.
Yeah. Now, how do you explain this thing where people who maybe you wake up and you feel like you have something to do, something that will give you, and that's why people call it a sense of purpose, having a sense of purpose in life. You know that phrase, yeah? Where people say, you know, when I quit my job and I started doing this, maybe I'm working for a charity or I'm doing my own business, I found this sense of purpose for my life, yeah? So can you speak a little bit to that as well?
So personally for me is that you found what resonates with your being, and it sits well with you. You enjoy it. You flourish when you are doing whatever it is that you're doing, or spending your time as you're spending it, because there's a resonance. There is a resonance from the inside. Your energetic frequency on the inside is resonating with this frequency outside, connecting and creating a bridge between what you're feeling inside and what you're doing outside. So this is about really figuring out what turns you on, what resonates with you. And I'm not talking about sexually, I'm talking about what turns you on, what literally, you know, lifts your frequency and makes you feel that how you're spending your time doing that is not only contributing to you, but is contributing to society.
Okay. And is it then important for people to strive to find that in life?
Striving again striving means you're coming out of the flow.
Okay, so let's not use the word striving. To try and find that, or is it something that would just come to you? Because many times, are you saying that it will just come to you when you're ready, or do you have to do something to get it?
It depends. It depends how many layers of crap you're carrying. Let's call things as they are. And a lot of people are walking around with so many layers of masks and deluded thinking about themselves. Since they were small, they've been told you're not good enough, you're not going to make it, you're a failure, you're this, you're that, teachers beating children in school. You know, this story of ours, this narrative of ours is so, it's a very painful narrative. And most people are walking around quite broken inside. They have no faith in themselves, all right? So how are they going to find this thing that they resonate with when they feel broken inside, or when they feel in pieces inside? So until they put their pieces together, they're not going to find the narrative that will resonate with their inside. And this is why when I say to people, you know, the whole world needs therapy, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding, because we have generational abuse and violence that we've lived through, generations and generations, and ancestral, okay? And now life is offering us the possibility of healing those wounds and putting our pieces together. Will we be able to put all our pieces together like a jigsaw puzzle? Who knows? It depends how committed you are to yourself. So this striving, so when people strive to find the purpose, let's use that sentence because that's what people do, with this, you know, real mishmash jigsaw puzzle that hasn't even been put together, they go and they spend these large sums of money thinking that this is how they're going to be able to feel satisfied. And they come out and they may even find a position, they may even start an organization, they may even become CEOs and GMs and MDs, and yet at the end of it, are they feeling that resonance? Are they feeling that sense inside and out? Is it bridging?
I just maybe I think this is a great time to just give you an example, a personal example where I love what you said about purpose being every moment of your life. Huh? And for me, for instance, and I'm sure for you as well, throughout your life, there've been different jobs you've held, you've had maybe different relationships, you've been a young mom and then an older mom, and every moment was purposeful in that moment, yeah? So while you were in it, you were enjoying it, and maybe it was something you needed to do. And then when you needed to move on, it was no longer your purpose, you had another purpose. And I put that quote unquote, yeah? So I think when you say things like people spending all this money and going to school to find their purpose, it resonates really well with me, because I think there are times I was holding a job and I thought that was my purpose at that time. And maybe it was, but then I moved on. And when I look back, I don't think I would ever go back to that, place again, but I'm here right now. And this is my purpose right now. Yeah. So I love what you said about you taking it as just every moment is your purpose. Is that the words you said?
Yes, life is purpose.
Yeah.
The fact that we exist in itself justifies the purpose, that we are alive. We've been put here, whether, regardless of a person's belief systems, we're here, we exist. And through this existence, no matter how challenging, no matter how direly problematic, no matter how many challenges we face, the fact that we're here, that I exist, that you exist, that she exists, that he exists, is not a mistake. We exist. And through just the understanding that our existence has meaning, gives it purpose, and not the purpose that we're being sold, because that is there's a word for it. It's a superficial purpose. It's something that we have to look for. Everything we are and everything we can become is right here within our existence. It's right here. We're the seed that will sprout into the tree, that will bear the fruit, and that will eventually die. And so it's all here. It's finding the resonance, and the resonance is what is more important, because the resonance you're operating at, the frequency you're operating at, if you're operating at the frequency of, oh my God, did you see the way she looked at me? Oh my God, I wonder what they said about me. Oh my God, they don't like me. Oh my goodness, my boss doesn't know I'm a fake. If you're operating at that frequency, how can you ever find that resonance? We don't realize that we're really a bunch of chemical bone cells and whatever operating at a certain frequency. And that frequency is controlled by the state of our minds. And by minds, I mean our subconscious minds, because our subconscious mind is running the show, not our mind. Okay? So if your subconscious mind is full of that stuff, what is that frequency? You're running at that frequency that should be really flushed down the toilet.
It's very low level frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So what's the alternative way to live then, rather than frantically looking for this non-existent purpose, or superficial is the word you use, superficial purpose?
So the thing is to figure out what it is that you enjoy doing, is to find that resonance, is to figure out, okay, so, and not go by other people's expectations, because how many people are living by other people's expectations? We spoke about this in one of the talks where we said, oh, but if the family expects you, if your parents expect you to, yes, well, if they expect you to, you're never going to live by your own resonance, are you? And so what is it? There's so many engineers that would have preferred to be makeup artists or chefs or hairdressers. but it was not acceptable. All right.
Mm.
So it's finding what really, you know, tantalizes you inside, that when you're like, when I'm engaging in these kind of substantive conversations, you can see I'm all lit up.
You're alive, yeah.
Because these are substantive, they are important conversations. And I knew this about me since I was a kid, that when I engaged in conversations that were meaningful, and I let me tell you, I was daft, I was innocent, I was thick, I had no clue about any of this stuff. It's taken me a lifetime to learn all of this, right?
Mm.
However, I knew that I had a gift of speaking, because when I did speak, people would listen. So there was something there. I just didn't know how to translate it fully until I got older, and I started to, you know, literally test myself. And slowly, in different ways, I found this path. I actually didn't look for it. It came to me.
Mm. Yeah. That's yeah, I think that's what hidden behind all these things of what's my purpose. I think that's what we all hope for in our lives, to be able to live the life that gives us that resonance and joy, and you know, makes our spirits alive. Yeah.
Absolutely. So if you're not looking for a purpose, you might be surprised, because even looking for that a purpose narrows it down and removes a world of possibilities.
Yeah.
So when you open up, like, you know, as we started the talk, so what is it that you do, Tazim? And then I can bring a whole list of stuff, because it's not narrowed to one tiny purpose. Like, you know, the spinach I ate for lunch that's hanging off my teeth.
Which it's not.
No, because I didn't have spinach.
Yeah.
Yeah, people have a problem telling other people they've got spinach on your teeth. I've never understood that. I look at a person, I say, excuse me, you know, you've got spinach on your teeth. And I laugh because I can see it and you can't.
Yeah.
So I don't know why people have a problem telling other people they have spinach on their teeth.
Depends who. Depends who you're telling. But no, well, for some, depends who you're telling. Yeah. Yeah, so that's I think that about sums up the conversation today. Just to summarize it, so purpose is this, it's a word that's become trendy, and we've kind of been sold onto this thing based on I guess the pop culture of the time. You started by saying it's about the books we've been reading, and really when everything is within us, and we have everything within us to become whoever we want to be. Which, and then it all
Yes.
just, and then it all comes back to just doing that work again. I just, you know, the running theme for most of these conversations is that it all boils down to you looking at yourself, doing the work, getting the help you need, and yeah, finally just finding that path.
So let me wrap this up in a very small way, right? There's, you know, that story about the little bird that was tweeting away and then ended up in a pile of shit. And do you know the story? It's a very simple story. It's like there was this bird and it was tweeting away, and suddenly there was an eagle, or there was a big bird that was going to try and come and eat it up. And it fell off the branch and ended up in a pile of cow dung. And shake its feathers and start tweeting again, and got swooped up and eaten. So they say when you're in the depth of shit, sometimes it's better to stay quiet to understand what's around you and whether you're safe. And in this case, if I bring this back to purpose, okay, it's a silly analogy, but I'm bringing it up because that's what showed up in my head, is that if you're lying underneath all that crap and you're trying to look for purpose, what are you going to find?
More crap.
You're just going to find more shit, right?
Yeah.
So start being mindful of the fact that, removing these layers of crap that we've accumulated is really important. And when you remove them, then your stuff just shows up. Things show up, people show up, opportunities show up, I've had sitting here in my apartment, I've had people saying, Tazim, how do you think this is going to happen for you? And I've said, it's okay. And I've had someone coming and knocking on my door and bringing me what I need at that point. And I have been completely floored, saying, yes, even sitting quietly in my apartment, the gift that I needed at that moment came knocking on my door.
Yeah.
And having the faith, of course,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you're not here by mistake.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Okay. I think that about wraps up today's discussion. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time and for those insights. And we will meet again next week, where we'll be discussing a very, very, very heavy subject. Yeah. And I look forward to.
We might need a bit more time for that. And I've already got stuff ready around it, so I'll send it through to you.
Yeah. Okay. So until then, we will speak soon, and take care.
And you take care. Thanks, Dhamma.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. Bye.